Right, it's time for the paper review now, and let's dig into the papers this morning to see all the headlines that are jostling for attention. We have with us in the studio a journalist and social commentator, Charles Ideho, joining us now. Charles,
good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Okay, I think let's start with the Punch newspaper now.
Yes.
The Punch this morning is reporting the very, very obvious, controversial statement. Inspector General of Police declares Babangida's spokesman, Afebwa, wanted, accuses him of character defamation and others. Now, the character defamation here, is it of the president or of General Babangida? Is one thing that, this just came out.
Well, that's very ambiguous. Because I read through the report, I read through that statement I made over and over again for media consumption and then for me to also be properly be enlightened. I didn't see where any personality's character was defamed. I didn't see because they even letter, when I look at, some of us studied English, we did comprehension of those, the letter writing, and it followed the due process, so to speak. First of all, highlighted what the problem is as it is, and looked at, and then he also proffered solution. So, and that's exactly, and he did it. What he said is very germane. Very germane. If nobody's going to be mischievous, that he said, first of all, these are the things that we have on ground, which everybody knows. And then he now said, okay, now we need a shift, a paradigm shift from the old order. And he has looked at it. How can, I mean, we can't be governed by gerontocracy. Yeah. You find people who are septuagenarians, people who are octogenarians, people who are even nonagenarians.
Well, according to that letter, no, it's no longer business as usual where analog leaders continue.
Yes, analog. I mean, analog. You know, okay, you can.
It's time for digital leadership.
Exactly. Now. I mean, somebody who said, I can't remember who, whether it's who said something about giving his boss a letter. He said for 1 week, a one-page letter was not read. He didn't have the time to read one.
But really, for the IG to declare Kazim Afebwa wanted, what's the difference really between this letter and the one from OBJ?
Okay, what's the difference? Yeah. But well, maybe OBJ didn't use any media aid. Maybe that.
He read out his own statement by himself.
The thing is that first, even in war times, you don't seize an emissary and make an emissary and a prisoner of war. What we have is the statement was written in, the statement was made by General IBB. He only used a paper as a courier. You don't arrest a courier. So that's where. So if you must declare anybody wanted, and you feel this is why it must be IBB. And let me also look at it that IG has to be very careful. He doesn't work for the president. He works for you. So he don't work for the, he works for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that's you, me, and everybody.
Exactly. Is this in the, if you're seeing the bigger picture, is this kind of a picture into understanding how intolerant maybe the government is?
Oh, it is. It is. I mean, there are all indications now that the government is very intolerant. But the government must listen to voices of opposition, voices of praises. Because when people oppose you, look at why they have opposed you. And if there's something you can do, you do it for you to be applauded. Yeah. That's what governments do. When people oppose you, if for you to be able to show up your support base, you do what they said they should do. And
according to Bob Marley, your best friend could be your worst enemy, and your worst enemy your best friend. I mean, so the person who tells you the truth.
Because the more you become very, very violent towards voice opposition, and the more you show up the opposition side.
All right, Metu in court on a stretcher. Judge adjourns trial till March the 14th. And you can see pictures of him lying in court.
But do we need that melodrama? We don't need, when I look at it, it was, how would the international community be looking at us right now? It's so pathetic. And they even said, even the court even said why Justice Okoabang said he didn't admit that when they wrote letter from the Nigeria Teaching Hospital or Newe that he was sick. So the letter did also pass through established legal procedure. Okay. What did they do? It was alleged that somebody smuggled that letter into the case file. So that's why the man said he was not aware of those letters. So he must come, or he will revoke his bail.
But are there no systems in place for the court to actually find out if truly an accused is too sick to appear in court?
But that's why we're having this, we're still dealing with this corruption in the judiciary. I mean, the question you ask now is that how did he let her find his way into the case file?
All right, The Nation. Let's move on to The Nation. How Odwa others shared 3.9 billion naira airports contracts cash, and
but the Odwa is still in government.
They've listed out who got what here.
The Odwa is still in government.
It's very much in government.
So who's asking questions?
All
Okay.
right, we
Who
know
will
this.
answer?
We know this government has been talking about zero tolerance for corruption.
Yes, but again, I think
Well, all of these remain allegations.
Allegations, but
proven
then when you have an
in court.
allegation, what you do, you go after the person who has been alleged to have committed such a crime. Then you
The
investigate,
courts-
and when
the
he's
courts
culpable,
are there.
so then you take the person in.
Well, of course, former aviation minister is still a senator of the Federal
Republic.
Republic and still
Distinguished senator.
Distinguished senator
Yes.
for that matter. Of course, Metu brought to court on stretcher. You describe it as
It's melodramatic.
dramatic. Kudos, knocks for Babangida. Police declare aid wanted. What else do we have here? Lassa fever death toll hits 31 in 15 states.
And that's very pathetic, and it's just spreading like wildfire. I expected that we should have met it with the treatment we had with what's that? That came from Liberia. What's that again?
Ebola.
Ebola, honestly. And but you see,
Brought
all
by
of us
Patrick
are
Sawyer.
guilty. I don't know, Mike. If you live here now, do you remember to wash your hands?
Oh,
I don't know. I don't-
Well, the point is, I try to make it a habit of washing my hands
You try
very
to, you
often.
try to, you
yeah,
try
I
to.
try to, because sometimes
How
you
religious
get,
are you about it? All of us were all religious. We're during
Yeah,
the Ebola
it's
time.
supposed to be
washing
something
twice a
that's
day
part
and
of
stuff.
us.
course,
Every
of
time,
course.
but now we've all gone back to the old
I
ways.
agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Maybe
And there's only-
we all need to have hand gloves now. To,
Okay, like, well, maybe.
Well, that'd be too melodramatic. And there's only one center of excellence in Nigeria, the teaching hospital in Irua.
Yes.
And of course, they're having complaints that they're not even well equipped.
Yeah, not. I mean, even some of the cases are even referred elsewhere.
All right, let's. The Daily Sun. EFCC recovers $98 million, 473 billion naira in, says Magu, and I think that was in the year 2017. Alone, yes.
1 year alone.
1 year alone.
So these monies were in the hands of those who helped themselves to the till. Okay.
And we're still expecting more monies to
But
return.
do you know the federal government, there was a plan to name and shame all these corporates?
It's still in the pipeline.
What
maybe.
pipeline have been, which of them, the one that says the one that have been bossed by the
Well,
Avengers?
do you name and shame them just because there are allegations around their names, or because it's been proven in court that they're actually guilty?
But these
of
monies were recovered
this
from
allegations?
individuals, not faceless, not masquerades. And then money recovered for them. Why didn't they go to
well,
court
maybe
to
there's some
challenge
kind
the
of
recovery
deal.
of the money from them? No, what I'm asking is that if you recover money from me and the money rightfully belongs to me and legally belongs to me, I have the right to go to court to complain or to go protest. But how come those people are not going to court to say, okay, the money rightly belongs to them?
Because the answers are very, well, likely, very obvious.
Okay, let's leave it at that.
The craft.
All right, the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit, Nigeria's MasterCard Visa cards may be blocked as Egmont moves to expel country. Now, the point there is the Financial Intelligence Unit is saying that the Nigerian unit of it has been, through the EFCC, which is a part, because it is under the EFCC,
That's right.
is divulging sensitive information to the public.
Well, I think that would be very, very sad. That would also paint us in bad light if it says true that it's blocked. First, some of us who do some of this transaction online we also have problem. People who are in school, who
Nigerians who travel from across the world cannot use MasterCards.
Everything must be done to make sure that it doesn't say true. For us to put our house in order and clean up the system. I mean, that's not too good to hear that you block. I mean,
that's really bad.
It's not
You know, one interesting thing about all the papers this morning, they all have divergent headlines.
Yeah, exactly.
And most of them are also negative. And then to our image.
Yeah.
All right.
The Vanguard final paper this morning, Herdsmen, well, they're still very much in the news. Herdsmen attack and sack Governor Tom's farmhouse, kill 2 in Waku village. We've deployed more men, says CP Fatayo. Wusheni, of course, is the new CP there.
They've taken the battle to the governor himself. But you see, the thing is that, I mentioned here last time, and I said, one of the ways we can resolve this matter is for the herdsmen and the Metiala to be called to a round table to also find out from. Because right now they're even saying that even this, what's the name, the cattle ranching they're talking about is not favorable to their species of cattle. So how do we get that?
I'm still talking about cattle. There's this one coming from Lagos State. State of abattoirs. Lagos at risk of foodborne diseases.
Yes. And
Wake up call.
I drive through that road. There's a road called Ijota West Road, which is close to the railway station, railway line close to that. When we drive through there sometime in the evening, you see the haziness of the atmosphere, and it is because of the smoke, and the thing smells. If you look at the stench, and it can cause epidemics.
Lagos State government, please, to the rescue.
And then the water too from the sewer. I mean, when they killed all these animals and slaughtered them, and then the blood goes into the sewer, and then and the thing smells. The stench is too heavy.
I guess we'll have to leave it there. Mr. and Mrs. is very interesting this morning. But I'll advise you to go look at it.
Your friends.